Welcome. Scott here. Here is a quick boss guide for the ongoing global exclusive event Fell Angels. The event synergy units are Lunafreya, Kam'lanut, Sherlotta, Kain, Iroha and Onion Knight. The fight is a reskin version of the original Von Intersecting Wills fight. We will be fighting the Ultima, the High Seraph, which has 180 million HP. The boss strongly resists all elements except for ice and water. The boss turns are framed and it will be immune to delay, including breaks, and turn deletion. The turn requirement is 80. The HP requirements is 10,000. Like most other Shinryu fights, the boss gains increased brave damage and gain resistances at start of the fight and 49% HP threshold. Bringing a support like Lunafreya, Sherlotta, Yuna, Aerith, Ramza, Selfa that grants damage boosting aura will make your fight easier. As the boss gains substantial boost to their defenses with the auras, it is important to inflict debuffs that lower their defenses. On the screen, I have listed down the examples of the key utility that you can consider for this fight. Firstly, let me summarize the key differences between this fight and Von's Intersecting Wills fight. The Ultima in Von Intersecting Wills fight doesn't have any base resistances. The boss force gauge charges faster when your party act. Von Intersecting Wills is 0.5% per turn and this fight is 1.5% per turn. For this fight, the boss gains an additional immunity to launch when the force gauge is above 30%. For the first time, to complete the Shinryu Ticket Challenge, you need to bring a full synergy party which needs to feature 3 of the 6 synergy characters. From my initial assessment from my attempts so far, it is going to be a tough challenge to complete even the synergy units are fully geared. Let's go through the key utility that you need for the fight. As the boss will gain resistances to all weapons types when its force gauge is 30% and above, along with the need to deal elemental weakness when the boss is emitting the green aura during its renew phase, ice and water enchanters are important to use here. For ice enchant, you can consider bringing Lunafreya, Onion Knight, Celis, or Karasame. Snow also gives ice enchant when his BT aura is active. For water enchant, you can considering bringing Redia. Both Ferris and Lunafreya gives water enchant when their force time is active. As it is a single target boss, single target BT nukers will be useful here to blitz past the boss HP. You can consider bringing DFFOO, Machina, Jack Garland, Von, Reigns, Titus, and Kam'lanut if you meet his FR conditions. As the boss turns are framed and you need to deal enough weakness damage to dispel the green aura, turn manipulators or units with instant turns will be useful here as well. Examples of turn manipulators are Lunafreya, Sid Reigns, Onion Knight, Noctis, Rem and Afma. The boss can constantly inflict debuffs at certain HP thresholds. You can bring debuff evasion units to counter that. They are Aerith, Lena, Afma and Ignis. Self-Ewal has 70% evasion status, but you can make it 100% by bring the self-summon. Yuna gives 100% debuff evasion during her FR phase. During its force time and when using its force ability Eshatan Plus, the boss will trigger a follow-up called Holija++ if it breaks a target. Holija++ is a party wipe attack. In other words, it will end your run if it breaks any characters in your party. To avoid breaks, you can bring break immunity, shields or brave floor characters. Examples for break immunity or brave floor characters are Yang, Kor, Ursula, and Alphanod. Locke and Von provides break immunity or max brave floor with their BT auras. For shields, you can bring Warrior of Light or 9. However, considering the strong brave potencies that the boss has, you can also consider to lower its attack stats with attack down or magic attack down debuffs as an additional precaution. As we are no longer have Lunafreya plus fights, the boss guide will be focused primarily on Shinryu fights. In Shinryu, you need to understand the effects gained by the boss as the force gauge build up, its force ability and its force time effect. As your party has low force levels, it is highly certain that the boss force gauge will build up faster than yours. To have a better understanding on the basics of the force gauge mechanics and Shinryu fights, I have done a video explaining the mechanics. I have included the link to the video under the comments and video description for your quick reference. At the start of the fight, the boss will apply abnormal field where it will disable the summon for the entire fight. You will enjoy the benefits of the summon blessing though. Throughout the fight, the boss will gain boost to its force gauge filling. It will fill by 1.5% when your party member act. You can lower that to 1% as long as your character is dealing elemental weakness damage. The boss force gauge is broken into 4 thresholds. When the boss gauge is more or equal to 30%, the boss will gain resistance to all weapon types. You can overcome this only with elemental imperil. Unless you have mechanics bypass it, bring elemental units or party elemental enchanters is the easiest route to go. The boss resists all elements, so making it tougher unless you bring water or ice enchanters for the fight. It will also gains immunity to launch as well. When the boss gauge is more or equal to 40%, the boss will apply abnormal field where it will lower your party's max brave and initial brave by 50%. When the boss gauge is more or equal to 60%, the boss will apply abnormal field where it will lower your party's attack and defense by 50% and reduce your party brave damage down by 100%. When the boss gauge is more or equal to 80%, the boss will apply abnormal field where it will lower your party's speed and turn rate by 50%. The boss force gauge will build up faster as its HP is lowered. You can refer to the table on the screen for the percentages. At the 100% threshold, the boss will use its force ability, Ishatone Plus, and activates its force time for 5 turns. The boss force ability, Ishatone Plus, will result the boss recovers from break and deal a magic AoE Brave plus HP attack. It will trigger Holaja Plus, a party instant KO attack if the force ability breaks a party member or attacking a broken target. So, you need avoid breaks at all costs. Break immunity or brave floor supports are great to handle this. Upon using the force ability, the boss will enter into its force time where the gauge will start to emit a red hue with a counter of 5 on its gauge. When the force time is activated, the bosses will gain an enhancement that results your party have their brave sapped by 100% of their current brave. During this period, the boss will be using Holaja Plus, which is an AoE magic brave. If it lands any breaks or attacking a broken target, it will follow up with Holaja Plus, which will instantly KO your party. To cancel the enemy's force time effects, you need to use an ice magic force ability that breaks the boss. Generally, any magic force ability works for this condition. However, it is actually trickier to do it as you need to time your force ability timely to break the boss. Now let's go through the fight key mechanics. The fight features a lot of threshold triggers. At the start of the fight, the boss will activate the abnormal field where your summon will be disabled. The blessing will retain its effect. Ifrit is probably the best summon option for this fight. The boss will activate inflicts debuffs at the following HP thresholds: 89%, 79%, 49%, and 29%. At the 89% and 29% HP thresholds, it will trigger a frame debuff Paralyze for 1 turn. At the 79% and 49% HP thresholds, it will trigger 3 frame debuffs, Attack -100%, Max Brave, 100% and Poison for 5 turns. To handle the debuffs trigger, you can consider one of the following 3 options. Use debuff evasion unit like Aerith, Lena, Afma, or Ignis. Use a debuff negation call like Raijin or Reno. Evade the attack with evasion or blind the boss. Redia LDCA is a good option if you don't have the 2 debuff negation calls available. At the 79%, 39%, and 19% HP threshold, the boss will enter into a preparing to recover stance where it will emit a green aura. It will use Renew on its second action after activation. Renew will restores the boss HP back to full, which is a game ender. To dispel the green aura, you need to deal elemental weakness damage 10 times. Upon fulfilling the condition, you will see the message renew failed and the green aura will be dissipated. To make your task easier in constantly hitting elemental weakness damage, it is best to have 10 turns before the boss could act. You can do this bringing turn spammers with turn manipulations or using a unit's burst phase. Lunafreya Quick Prayer buff gives a target 3 consecutive turns or 4 consecutive turns if her BT aura is active. Onion Knight LD and FR can bring your party turns forward. Before I end the video, let's recap a bit on the key mechanics that I have covered. Recommended FR units for this fight are Jack Garland, Tifa, Reigns, Celis, Kam'lanut, and Onion Knight. Do expect that you need to use at least 2 FR phases unless you are doing the nuking strategy with Snowverflow or the infamous N Across Hope nuke combo. To do the N Across Hope nuke combo, you need to have Brave Resistance Ignore mechanics like Kate Sith LDCA or Sherlotta BT Aura. To speed up your force gauge filling, you can bring force charges like Pernello, Selpha, Aerith, Sherlotta, Hope, Yuna and Lunafreya. As the boss will gain resistances to all weapon types and resist all elements except ice and water, it is advisable to bring party enchanters like Lunafreya, Onion Knight, Celis, Snow, Karasame, or Rydia. When the boss activates its force ability or during its force time, it is important not to get broken. Break immunity or brave floor is important here. Otherwise, your party will get wiped by its Holoja++ attack. Core, Ursula, Alphanod, and Yang are great options. You can also consider Locke or Vaughn if you have their BT. During its force time, Holoja+ is a very hard-hitting AoE brave attack. To ensure it doesn't hit hard, you need to either strengthen your defense or lower its attack. If you don't have break immunity or brave damage mitigation like Hope Shell and Protect, attack down debuffers will help a lot. Combining the effects from his overhead buff, Addle debuff along with attack down debuff from his sphere, Kam'lanut can negate down the attack's potencies to a safety threshold for your party to withstand those attacks. The boss will trigger debuffs at the 89%, 79%, 49%, and 29% HP thresholds. You can avoid them with debuff evasion supports like Lena, Aerith, Aphma, or Ignis, or use a debuff evasion FR like Yuna. The boss has a massive pool of HP and you will want to keep their turns minimal with turn delay, as you need to deal weakness damage 10 times whenever the boss activates its green aura. Damage nuker units like Machina, Jack Garland, Tifa, and Sid Reigns works well for this purpose. Bringing a follow-up attacker like Kain, Freya, Yang, Sisnei, Core will help to speed up you to meet the criteria. As the boss has frame turns that prevent delays and turn deletion, instant turn, and turn manipulation is vital to ensure you have enough to break the renew stance. You can also choose to save your BT phase for handling that or keep on spamming instant abilities during a FR phase. With this, I have come to the end of my boss guide presentation. Hopefully you find it useful. If you like the video, please give a like. Please subscribe to my channel for future gaming content. Good luck for the fight. Bye.